Hello and welcome to D&D Daily. My name is Sage, and today I'm going to be talking about a truly vicious enemy, the Mind Flayer Arcanist. The Mind Flayer Arcanist is a medium apparition that is lawful evil, has an armor class of 15, 71 hit points, 30-foot movement speed, and a +1 to its initiative rolls. The Mind Flayer Arcanist has +0 to strength, +1 to dex, +1 to con, +4 to intelligence, +3 to wisdom, and +3 to charisma. We have proficiency in intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, as well as the arcana, deception, insight, perception, persuasion, and stealth skills. We have dark vision out to 120 feet, a passive perception of 16. We speak deep speech, and we have telepathy out to 120 feet, and as well as undercommon. We are challenge rating 8 with a proficiency bonus of +3. Our first ability is magic resistance, which gives the Arcanist advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. We also come with innate spellcasting, which is under the umbrella of psionics. The Mind Flayer Arcanist innate spellcasting ability is intelligence with a spell save DC of 15, and it can cast at will, detect thoughts, and levitate, and once a day dominate monster and plane shift, self only on the plane shift. Looking at the Arcanist spellcaster, it uses intelligence, has a +7 to hit, a DC of 15, and then we have our list of spells. Starting with cantrips, we have Blade Ward, Dancing Lights, Mage Hand, and Shocking Grasp. At first level, we get Detect Magic, Disguise Self, Shield, and Sleep. Second level, we get Blur, Invisibility, and Ray of Enfeeblement. Third level, we get Clairvoyance, Lightning Bolt, and Sending. At fourth level, we get Confusion and Hallucinatory Terrain. At fifth level, we get Telekinesis and Wall of Force. Moving into our actions, it starts off with Tentacles. It's a melee weapon attack with +7 to hit, a reach of 5 feet, hits one creature, and on hit does an average of 15 psychic damage. If the target is medium or smaller, it is grappled, escape DC 15, and must succeed on a DC 15 intelligence saving throw or be stunned until this grapple ends. We come with Extract Brain, which is a melee weapon attack with +7 to hit. It has a reach of 5 feet, and it must target one incapacitated humanoid grappled by the Mind Flayer Arcanist. On hit, the target takes an average of 55 piercing damage. If this damage reduces the target to 0 hit points, the Mind Flayer Arcanist kills the target by extracting and devouring its brain. And finally, we come with Mind Blast, which recharges on a 5 or a 6. The Mind Flayer Arcanist magically emits psychic energy in a 60-foot cone. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 15 intelligence saving throw or take an average of 22 psychic damage and be stunned for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on its success. Looking at the stat array, it's very clear that this creature does not want to be tangling up in melee or physical combat. This is a spellcaster through and through and wants to keep distance and wants to use spells and control the battlefield. So what can we do to control the battlefield with the Mind Flayer Arcanist? The first spell that stands out to me is Hallucinatory Terrain. This allows the Mind Flayer Arcanist to create a large area, a large illusion, to funnel potential targets the way they want them to be funneled. You can close off exits or make certain terrains look far more difficult to traverse than they actually are. So you can change an area to make the party move the way you want to move if they don't see through the illusion. And keep in mind, Hallucinatory Terrain doesn't take concentration, so we can be invisible while we're funneling the party. Now, once we have the party funneled where we want, we'll probably have our minions ambush them. A Mind Flayer Arcanist is probably not going to fight alone. It's probably going to have some controlled minions or some otherwise minion. So now we're in a situation where we have an invisible Mind Flayer Arcanist who has a bunch of minions attacking the party, and the fight's developing, and it's watching. It kind of analyzes, figures out what party member does what, and it's trying to set up a very huge wall of force. It's trying to isolate somebody by wall of forcing everybody else away with the minions. If it is able to isolate someone, then it might go for the kill and the eating right then in front of them. But keep in mind that with wall of force, you can still mind blast through it. That's a pretty broken combo. So you can trap everybody in a near inescapable prison, and then you can mind blast them on the other side of it, and they can't do a lot about it. It's a really dirty tactic, but it's one that the Mind Flayer Arcanist can pull off. And let's say that we do mind blast everybody. There's a couple stunned people inside, and now there's one person who may or may not be stunned on the outside. The Mind Flayer Arcanist can now go isolate that person, grapple them, and eat their brain. If this tactic were to deteriorate, the Mind Flayer Arcanist still has other options. Another control spell, if we've run out of Wall of Forces, is Confusion. It's like a mass control, it's like a soft control that everybody has to move certain directions, and so we can use that if we're out of Wall of Forces. We have Lightning Bolt when we're waiting for Mind Blast to recharge, so instead of like other Mind Flayers who want to keep distance that can't do anything until it recharges, we can start hurling Lightning Bolts. We also have a lot more defensive options than the normal Mind Flayer. We have Invisibility, which is kind of our standout second level spell. We open up with Invisibility and we can end with Invisibility. But that's not our only defensive option. We also come with Shield, so we're tankier than normal Mind Flayers as well, and we also have the plane shift for our escape. So not only are we good at engaging, we're good at disengaging. This is a very deadly creature who can really choose their fights. They're smart enough to analyze the party and attack them accordingly. They have the best 5th level control spell in the game, and they know how to use it, combined with a mass AoE stun and damage. This is a terrifying guy with solid defenses to back it up. Fighting the Mind Flayer Arcanist, what should we do? It's pretty tricky because they're casting Wall of Force while invisible. Probably not going to be able to counterspell it. Once it's up, you can't dispel magic it. You can only like teleport using things like Misty Step to get on the other side, or to have Disintegrate ready to evaporate the wall. Those are some pretty niche situations, and not everyone can teleport. So there's a lot of parties that aren't going to be able to counter this at all, which is a very scary thing. We can still cast spells that don't have like travel. We can't necessarily throw a fireball into the Wall of Force, it's going to stop it, but if we target something outside of the Wall of Force with, say, Hypnotic Pattern, that would both end its concentration and kind of control it, that would destroy the Wall of Force as well. So things like Hypnotic Pattern, Sleet Storm, anything that we can cast outside of the bubble to break concentration is going to be a big deal. Now, like all Mind Flayers, they do not have a lot of HP, so they can be brought down under sustained fire. They're also really requiring that they maintain their concentration. Like all Mind Flayers, this guy cannot really keep up with sustained damage. That an archer pressuring the Mind Flayer will kill it eventually. This one's a lot more resistant to that tactic because of shield, but is not immune to it. Being pelted by arrows, having high ranged damage is really going to kill a Mind Flayer quick. Something that's kind of lore driven is that Mind Flayers don't like mages. So this is probably an outcast if you know your DM's using them as written, and you might be able to take advantage of that outcastness, that they're not going to have Mind Flayer allies coming to help them out. So things along those lines that you might be able to take advantage of. They'll probably still have minions, but they won't be Mind Flayer related. Anyways, this is my take on the Mind Flayer Arcanist. Very deadly enemy, very powerful spellcaster. I think the biggest thing about it is the way it can engage and disengage so strongly. That's a very deadly combo. Let me know how you would use a Mind Flayer Arcanist, and let me know how you would counter one in the comments down below. We are D&D Daily. We're releasing new D&D content every single day, so if that's interesting to you, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.